especially at this time when there's so much AI coming out and all these different trend, tools and styling tools that it feels deeply problematic to me that people are jumping to those without first looking within and at themselves.
Totally. Erin Walsh, welcome to Nice Talk.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
I am too. I'm going to give you a little intro for the viewers at home. Erin is a celebrity stylist with an impressive roster of celebrity clients, including Anne Hathaway and Selena Gomez. She's one of the most important power players in styling. Anne has been named one of the Hollywood Reporter's most powerful stylists. In addition to her styling work, she's also the author of an upcoming book called, and I want to get this right, The Art of Intentional Dressing, Your Essential Style Guide for Manifesting a Magnetic Life, which hits shelves in May.
Yep.
Erin, I'm thrilled to have you here. Should we dive in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
I'm so excited.
All right, let's go back to little Erin, early career Erin. I want to talk to you about what your relationship to style was like when you were growing up.
I grew up wanting to be an actress, which is why I went to NYU for acting. But always as a little girl, I remember like lying in bed dreaming of outfits and like what I would wear the next day, even costume wise. It was like a language to me that it was always on my mind. And, my grandmother was this incredibly elegant woman, and so is my mother. So it was like always around me. And my grandmother was always talking about the importance of like dressing the part and not being a matter of luxury or expensive things, but a matter of how you put them together and how you give yourself tools to walk in a room. So it's always watching that, always aware.
Yes, always watching. I feel like I grew up similarly where you just have like stylish people around you and you just observe. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you mentioned that you came to New York to go to school for acting.
Yeah, I did.
So at what point did you decide to pivot away?
So I graduated from NYU, from Tisch School of the Arts, which is a wild way to come to New York. It's like bright lights, big city turn, because you're like in conservatory. You're going to the theater all the time. They're like sending you to all the museums. It's basically a school in learning how to be alive, which is I'm so glad I did it, even though I didn't end up acting. But basically, I graduated and I panicked. I couldn't see a path to success. I didn't know how to get an agent. I didn't know how it would work, like lining up actual work. Besides, like now that I had mastered the how to act part, it seemed so foreign to me. And then I pictured myself without a path to success, which I for better, for worse, I'm very ambitious, and I want
for better here on Nice Talk, okay?
But like because I couldn't grasp a tangible version of how I would make this work, my intuition was like, nope, that's it. And I quit immediately. It was like within 2 months of graduating. I never gave it a real chance.
Okay.
And I worked in retail, and then I worked in PR, and then I got a job temping at Condé Nast, and I immediately got a job as an assistant at Vogue. And that's how I got into fashion. It was very fast and kind of just crazy.
What did working at Vogue teach you? Like, what was that training ground like?
It's so timely right now.
Yeah,
right?
I know, with all the books and the nostalgia and all the things.
Vogue, an important element of it, it's like a boot camp to be like the best kind of a worker you can be, because you're learning how to be a producer in a sense. It's essential to be able to always connect all the dots and to see the bigger picture. So it's not just about, did you do this in the market and did you get this piece of clothing? It's like, did you master the budget and did you take care of all the essentials to do something? Are you like my first shoot was on set with Irving Penn. So in that kind of studio, it's like learning how to read a room, learning all the nuances of each exchange, and also learning to really respect an elevated nature to all of this. Because starting there, I developed this respect for the process and for the world that like all of this has the possibility to be. And more importantly, how it can really, really inspire people to hopefully, at its best, better live their lives. And the other very important Vogue lesson is that you never take no for an answer.
Yes. Okay. I was going to ask about career advice that you got during your time at Condé Nast. Like, what has been some of the best career advice? And on the flip side, like, what were you happy to leave?
That was essential, because that never taking no for an answer in terms of like someone telling you, well, that's not possible, or, you can't have this. It made me develop the mentality of what's the solve? Yes. How do I fix this? Because it's never not that there's not an answer. It's what's the answer? How do I get there? So that was crucial. And then I think also for me, I think one of my strengths as a stylist and in fashion in general is really zoning in on this intersection of accessibility and aspirational, it really gave me this library of tools to learn how to connect those dots. Because for me, storytelling is about connecting with someone. So whether that's what you wear and what that's telling to them, or the person that you become when you wear something, which it all has the potential to be something so great if we let it.
Was there any advice that anyone gave you either back then or as you were coming up in your career that you were like, actually, I'm not listening to this at all?
Oh my God. Oh, bad advice. When I went off on my own as a stylist, I didn't stay at Vogue very long. I didn't get along with my boss. I was like too soft probably.
Yeah.
And so I went on and I assisted several freelance stylists, including Samira Nasser, who I consider to be, guardian angel of sorts.
Absolutely.
And when I decided, I had such an impatience to like get out on my own and start doing it on my own. And at the time, I literally would email everybody. I'd like make these ugly portfolios of work that like made no sense. And I had so many no's. I couldn't get an agent. Like nothing was working.
Yeah.
And so I remember the first time I shared my portfolio with an agent, he looked at it and he was like, well, like, basically, what is this? You're a loser, get out of here.
Yeah.
And I got used to hearing that, but I just wouldn't let it in.
It's a good thing you did it.
Still here, still standing.
Exactly. I want to talk about your book that I mentioned at the top. As I said, it's coming out in May. It's called The Art of Intentional Dressing. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
I knew I wanted to write a book at least 10 years ago. I didn't know exactly what it was going to be.
Have you always been a writer?
I've always loved writing.
Okay.
And incidentally, when I got the job at Vogue, there was an opening in the fashion department, but I really wanted to be in features because I loved writing.
Okay.
But there wasn't an opening there. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll sneak into fashion and then, segue into features.
Yeah.
That never manifested. But it wasn't that I wanted to write a book just to prove that I could write. It was this sentiment that I kept coming across. So whether that's women, celebrities that I work with, or my aunts in the Midwest, or any woman that I met, they had this relationship with style where getting dressed made them feel bad about themselves. Going to get dressed in the morning, going to an event and not feeling one with their choice ruined their night, or and ultimately how you spend your days is how you spend your life. So that was the sentiment. I'm like, how do I unpack this in a book?
How you spend your days is how you spend your life.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Absolutely.
I love that.
It's why this act of getting intentional about every single thing is so necessary.
Yeah.
So with the book, I realized in the making of it, I didn't know this at the onset. And then I realized, it's funny, I had a different agent at COVID. I got an agent because I wanted to make a book. And I was getting kind of heady with like where I wanted it to go, because I think really big. And and for me, like the interesting thing about fashion is the intersection of style and substance. Like I didn't want to make a celebrity style book. I didn't want to make a fluffy book about getting dressed and playing with clothes. I wanted to create a movement that would fundamentally shift the way women think about their own possibility in their lives. And this agent I was talking to, who wasn't the one who sold my book, she said to me, well, why would people consider you to be an authority on like helping themselves or like self-empowerment? And it's so good.
Why wouldn't they?
Exactly. Why not you? Why not you?
Why not?
That it was just a seed that was planted. And so like I created the method in the book by learning to live this way, and the ways that I had worked with clients for years that I was unconsciously doing. And I've always considered myself to be a fashion therapist, not just a stylist, because I deeply want to connect with somebody and like reveal essential things of themselves that they want to reveal through the clothes. So anyways, when I switched agents, sold a book and was figuring it out, I realized I was creating method. And
tell us about the method.
The method I create is called the CREATE method. And it's an acronym for clarity, which is getting clear on how you want to feel and the woman you want to be. Ritual, which is a means to recalibrate, reboot, and reset, both at the beginning of the day, which we all wake up and we're, at the whim of how we feel and our emotions and our bodies, et cetera. But also like during the day, every woman I know plays so many different roles. How do you shift? How do you recenter? It's essential. And these rituals and ceremonies also honor ourselves and kind of elevate how we feel in our bodies. Editing is about editing your closet, because most women I know, their closets are like cemeteries of the past selves they used to be, and they don't resonate with the person they want to be. And so instead of just like letting that be the case, so when you get dressed in the morning, you're like, what the F do I wear? You go through your closet and you make sure that every single piece resonates exactly with a particular feeling. So that red sweater you're wearing, like you look at that and you're like, oh, that makes me feel empowered and joyful.
Yeah.
And this gray, shoulder pad top that I'm wearing makes me feel empowered and elegant, like, so when you go, and you look at something, you're like, that's what I need today. So then it becomes an arsenal. The alignment, that's the A in create. And that's about really harnessing the energetic systems of your body, whether that's the chakras or your nervous system, your parasympathetic, and learning how to balance yourself by harnessing clothes to do that. So whether that's silhouette, texture, color, etc. Truth is learning to align, like live more in integrity by aligning your essence and the person that you are and have always been with the person you want to be, and using clothes to do that storytelling for you. And then expansion is obviously learning how to take risks, but not risks for risk's sake. It's learning to keep growing in your choices, because I don't expect anybody to finish the book and be like, I'm healed forever. Like, my closet's good. Like, it's a commitment to yourself and to being on the journey.
How did you come up with this method?
Do you know what's so funny? And a friend of mine asked me when I was interviewing him for the book, he's like, were you always doing this with clients? The answer is like, yes and no. Like, I've always thought thoughtfully about how I work. It was never enough for me to just be like styling in the sense of like getting someone dressed. It's like, how do we make you feel supernova? How do you make you feel great? And in terms of the actual method, the name, I was sitting at a cafe waiting for a friend to come in. I'm scribbling in my notebook, in the middle of working on the book. And I already knew the things that like I would be a part of it, but I wrote out the word create. It just came to me. And then I started like writing possible words, but there wasn't even that many takes of it, because I knew that it's about getting clear. I knew that rituals were an essential, because it's that idea of ceremony that's so important to me every single day, to just feel softer and calm and more in alignment with that person I want to be. I know people say this sort of thing, but I'm very genuine when I say that a lot of this, it's just like it poured out of me, and it just came from how I am and what I do, but also something bigger than me. It's why I see it as a movement, because I want to move people. I'm just so excited that it's coming out there, because it's a genuine white space that I know most people don't know how to solve it. And it's especially at this time when there's so much AI coming out and all these different trend, tools and styling tools, that it feels deeply problematic to me that people are jumping to those without first looking within and at themselves.
Totally.
And not seeing what makes them vulnerable and why.
Yeah, just thinking about it for a second, like stopping to think about it, as you said, to like do the rituals, to get clear on what it is before like a computer tells you what it is. The podcast is going to air at the top of the year. And I think the top of the year is one of those times where everyone's like, I'm starting over. I'm editing my closet. I'm cleaning things out. I want to talk to you a little bit about the sort of like editing of the closet process. I loved your Substack piece about closet editing, where you said, like, my dream is to create, as you said earlier, a closet that isn't a cemetery of our past selves. It's the library of feelings I want to feel, vibes I want to embody. My closet is a passport to my very best self, even when I might not be waking up feeling very much like her. That is so wise, really. I think to your point, like, the closet can be like reminders of bad times,
so
and it's so fraught and triggering. Yes, absolutely. But people are also so hell-bent on holding on to those
funny,
triggers.
Right?
It's like,
but look at it in the same way we look at our body, and the way that our body like holds different kinds of traumas, and not just capital T trauma. Even like that person who pissed you off in the morning, like you're holding on to it in your neck or whatever. The more you see the synchronicity between like who you are and the things you allow into your life, whether that's clothes or the rooms you enter or how you enter them, like they just all go together in a very magical way. So, yeah.
What are your tips for people who want to do like that top of the year closet clean out?
I mean, I think you need to look at everything. Like, I've always been
like take everything out at once, go like chunk by chunk. I know.
Some people suggest that. No, I think you have to go through it slowly. I'm someone, I edit my closet a lot, but I'm also a fashion editor, so.
But I think that's wise though. Like, why only do it once a year? Why not do it a quarter or every month or something?
I think quarterly is really wise. Like, every week or month is probably too much for most people. I think you have to like take a day and like photograph yourself in looks. But number one, before that, you need to go through every single piece and do this exercise. That's like number one. And I can't tell you, like I'm a sentimental person and I'm like have a bleeding open heart, but like with the clothes, I've gotten so ruthless about it. And they just go, like with the exception of, like my grandmother's dress or like things of my mother's and that sort of thing. But like designer stuff, like it's, if it doesn't resonate, what's the point? What are you holding on to and why? And if there is something there like, I can't, like, why? What's that telling you about yourself? That's also like an investigative process too, right?
That is very true. My fiance is ruthless. He's like, throw it away, get it out. I don't care. Like, it's fine. And I'm like, no, but I bought it. We need to look at your closet. I mean, now we share a closet, so I have gotten better. And we went through a moment where he was like, hey, I live here too. And I was like, okay, I will. That's feng shui. Make space for you.
Like that is energetically. He was right, because if you're imbalanced, then that's tipping the relationship. The interesting thing with feng shui too, like even in your closet, like if you want to say call in a husband or a partner or whatever, you can literally like make some space and put some empty hangers there, or like make you have to be so conscious of energetically what you're putting out and what you're making space for. And people wonder why opportunities aren't coming in if their closet's like crammed and like forget if they don't even like anything there. If it's super tight and you can't see what's going on, like you're not going to be clear at all. You will not remember the woman you want to be.
Yeah. You said that you were a sentimental person, but you're willing to let go. How do you like walk yourself through that, like letting go of things though?
Oh, what a good question. I think it starts with clarity, because whether that's a person in your life or a thing in your life, it goes back to the intention. Who is the person I want to be? How do I want to feel? What do I want to offer the world today? Like micro and macro for the rest of my life. Like I'm thinking of like certain jackets in my closet, especially like maybe the one-of-a-kind designer ones. Yeah. Some of those I give like a green card. Even with things that I liked deeply at one point, I just don't see the point in holding on to something that's getting in the way.
Because that's getting in the way.
Yeah,
that's
like your
key.
Time is your most valuable asset. Yeah. And having that piece of who you used to be, even if you can offer compassion to that past version of yourself, you can love that piece for what it is. Doesn't mean it needs to stare at you in the face every morning and remind you of, because it's funny, change is essential and it's what we're doing every day, but reminding yourself every day of the person you used to be is not getting you to where you want to go.
Yeah. Okay, so once you've edited and you maybe have like the shoppies and you're ready to replenish the closets, like do you have any tips for finding those new pieces that will feel sort of like they can slot like back in?
I'm so excited. I can't say too much about it now, but I'm developing an app that's going to like do this with you. So I'll have to come back and tell you about it when it's
for round 2.
But in terms of tips for shopping, I think, again, it goes back to that question. If you look at like, and it's an exercise in, I talk in the book about this a lot. Like you really have to like try on different scenarios and see, because it's not just about the piece later, then it's about the looks and how they resonate and how do you embody certain vibes that you want to feel. But I think like in terms of investment, you'll start to see like what you're missing when you put together what makes sense.
Right.
I feel like I'm always searching for like more white t-shirt, like perfect white, silly essential things that you like wear on repeat.
Yeah.
It's important to look at how often you wear something too. And people talk a lot about like price per wear.
Yes.
But I think like when you look at what you don't wear, then like why? Like what do I actually want to, what do I need? What were times where you didn't feel like you had the tools at your disposal and what might have served you better?
I think you're using the right word there too. When it comes to clothing, is that it is a tool. And a lot of people don't think of it that way. They just think of it as like whatever you put on your body.
100%.
But I've always said that, I personally don't love like super complicated or fussy clothing because it can get in the way of what I need to do in the day, because I see my clothing as tools. Like they're tools to make me feel empowered, make me feel like myself, make me feel ready to come in and talk to you or to like talk to my team. And I think that more people could stand to look at clothing that way.
What I really liked about doing the book, I talked to my friend Jen Hyman, who started Rent the Runway in the book. She said, people, they think that fashion is a luxury, but everybody has to get dressed at the beginning of the day the same way they have to brush their teeth. So I think like losing that idea that fashion isn't for you, like unless you literally are naked every day.
Right, unless you live on a naked commune, fashion is for you.
Have the choice to get intentional about yourself.
And intentional doesn't have to mean expensive.
No.
Right? Like it
At
can
all.
just...
At all. There's so many great, inexpensive options.
Yeah. I want to switch gears for a second and talk about your celebrity client work as well. It's, as I mentioned at the top, like it's really incredible and such a testament to the amazing work that you do. I want to talk about Anne and Selena. Like, tell me how you started working with them and like, what are, like, take me back to those days.
With clients, they just kind of, usually they sort of come up and you meet with clients and then you see if it's going to be a good fit. And you always like, you're not meant to work with everybody. There's going to be people that you don't mesh with just because you don't. Like it's a collaboration. And my best like experiences with clients they're deeply collaborative because it's the process of me trying to unpack what do they need, like how can I serve the story they need to tell. And for actors that like that's many different boxes to hit, because it's not just how do you want to feel. It's like it has to do with the roles you're cast in, the career you're making outside of your career, what you're doing, and everybody has different tangents to their careers now. So it's just looking at all those moving parts and seeing the bird's eye view of it as opposed to just like that day. And obviously like it's the elevated thing. Like everything kind of is a big stake if you give it that power. And not to say to get all sweaty and nervous about it, but like just giving it like a gravitas, it makes it feel essential.
For the like true fashion lovers who are listening to the pod, they're going to remember these like sort of standout looks that you have created with your clients, right? So I'm thinking of Selena and her Golden Globes looks for Only Murders in the Building. She was nominated and wore that like light blue Prada gown.
That was exquisite.
What was your process for landing that?
It was like this laser vision, and I love the people that Selena works with, and they were really instrumental in, I think, like if you talk through like goals and how you, because it's an award season, that's all about elevated and honoring the moment. So with the whole award season, it was very old Hollywood and crystal clear. How do we like make this woman shine? And how do we, it's not about what's fussy. It's not about the fashion even. Fashion's a tool. But none of the looks that she wore, if you look at them, were about the fashion. They were about the woman.
You started your career in a time where all of this feedback did not exist.
Not to say that I brushed that right off my shoulders, because I'm human and I'm deeply vulnerable too. But I think if you focus, again, to bring it back on the intention and what I know to be true in my relationship working with someone, and whether something worked or whether it could have worked better, that's what matters, not what some noise out there that wasn't in the room and doesn't understand the process and doesn't understand what the bigger picture of what we're doing. So it's there, but the same way that like there's so much in the world we can't control. I can't control that. So it's kind of like the serenity prayer.
Serenity now. Yes, 100%. We talk a lot about work-life balance on this podcast. Many people don't believe in it. I would love to hear your feelings on it, because you do have so many in-demand clients that you work with. You're a mom of 3. You're going into not just Golden Globe season, but Grammys with Selena, and has a huge year for 2026. What does that look like for you? How are you sort of like juggling all of the things?
I think like one of the reasons I wanted to put this book out there was like means to provide alignment and calm, so that all these, I do have a lot of balls in the air. And I'm trying not to drop any.
But if you do, is it fine? Are you okay with it?
I offer myself grace, and you go into the why and you get back up. I was listening to an interview Michelle Obama was doing right before I came here, and she was very honest, saying like, you know, when you're not here, like when you're here, you're not there. And Shonda Rhimes has talked a lot about this too, in terms of like being a mother and a working mother, and when I'm present with the client, am I still present with the kids? One thing that's always been important to me is, instead of keeping them separate, I really try to weave them all together and not, there's a different energy, say, being on set with someone or me, you know, working than perhaps when I'm at home, but I'm still the same person and bringing the same integrity to every situation. And the other thing is, since my kids were little, I've brought them in and out of fittings and photo shoots, and they meet all my clients. I know there's a lot that I miss, and I'm not, you know, there for school pickup every day, and I'm not a room mother, and you know, other things, but I also know that they love seeing me do something that brings me purpose and makes my life feel like it's impacting people for good. And they ask questions about it, and I share so much of the process, and I'm always honest with like where I am and why. And I I hope that they can find a vocation that does the same for them. It is not perfect. There's things that I miss that don't feel great. I know that as a mother, I'm killing it, but I know that I'm not the same kind of mother as plenty of other people, and that's okay.
Yeah,
and that's just about grace. For me as a mother, what I've decided, because perhaps I won't be able to give them all the time because I'm in many places at once, but my goal was to give them all the love every second, and every second that I'm with them, I had to be deeply present. Offer them grace for their feelings if they are feeling, like they're missing me or upsetting. And I sound like I'm gone all the time. I'm not. Like, I'm around a lot too.
No, but it's just the reality of what you are a mother of 3 who works.
Yeah.
And whether you're gone all the time or you're not gone all the time, like the feelings are still valid, right? Like, you're still going through this thing. And I think specifically for this podcast, people will love to hear just the honesty about it and how you've discussed about like alignment and being present. I think it's just a really good reminder, and it's a way, I think, for the listeners and for the viewers to be reminded to extend themselves grace as well.
There's enough people that will judge you. You don't need to get in the business of shitting on yourself. It's like, no, no way.
I have to ask you about Anne Hathaway, who wrote the foreword of your new book. Yeah. I will tell you what I love about what you and Anne have created is that Anne looks so good when she hits the red carpet, and you can tell she's feeling herself.
You can always tell when a woman is feeling herself. Yep.
I love it.
I love it.
What has the journey, like dressing Anne over the years, been like for you?
What I think is so cool is it's been several years now, and we're both working moms, and I think it's just like this incredibly intuitive. It's kind of like making music together in a way. Like, there's just this riff. Like, what about this and this and then and like I always try to operate like by setting my ego aside. So it's not, if they ask, what do I think is best? Yes, obviously, then it's merited. But the point should be about the result and how they feel and how they look, and not like, I try to keep the ego aside. With Anne specifically, though, I feel like it's just been so much fun.
Yeah.
And so wonderful to watch, like, viral and wild, like, inclusive reactions, because for someone like her, she has a spectrum of fans that go from when she was a little girl.
Totally.
And to like the ones, say, with Princess Diaries, to the ones who came on board with Devil Wears Prada, to the ones like in all these later films. I was having the kids, we watched Batman when she was Catwoman this weekend.
Gosh.
And they were very impressed with
like,
the back kicks and the leather. But it's just cool because there's so many kinds of fans. And I love this with all the women that I work with, because you take the inspiration from what resonates with you.
Are you thinking about the press run for Devil Wears Prada too? Or
well,
can you tell us anything?
What can you tell us? With that movie specifically, you have to really rise up to the occasion. It should be like a fashion extravaganza.
A fashion extravaganza.
I'm working on it.
Oh, I love it. I mean, yes, I can't wait to see it. That is one of the movies that, and it's funny that you worked at Vogue. It's one of those movies that really does just resonate with so many people.
The first film came out when I was assisting at Vogue. It was funny.
Oh my God. I can imagine what that was like. Well, I've read a bit about what that's like, but
everything feels very meta right now.
Right?
It's funny.
Yeah. What's old is new again. It's very funny. Obviously, we've discussed sort of like how you've dressed a lot of other people, but I'm curious about what you like to wear personally, especially when you want to feel powerful and confident. Like
you were saying, I don't like having to spend too much time thinking. I don't have the time to spend too much time thinking about it. So I really rely on systems. That's like silhouette systems. For me, a bold shoulder just always works. I have like bold shoulder. I love a cinched waist. I love a wide leg trouser. I love a chunky shoe. These are very like empowering pieces that make me feel like I can do all the things I need to do, but also feel a little supercharged. I can't wear flats if I'm going to work. Anytime I've tried,
that's very Vogue.
Even
that's
in a
very,
sneaker,
like, that's very.
I can't. I feel like
Vogue.
you shouldn't trust me. Like when I'm wearing a flat. Like in the summer, love my Ally flats, but like not really. Even if I was wearing them to work, I would change my shoes.
Yeah.
The same way watching my mom growing up and like to court, she was a lawyer and she'd have to wear like nylons and like certain length skirt and heels and all of it. And just, it's like I'm allergic to that casual. And not to say like, she's so fussy, because I'm not, but like, I think to play certain roles, you need certain tools at your disposal.
Absolutely.
So those are pretty go-to. I'm loving like easy sets and suits right now too.
Okay.
It just feels like no brainer.
Right. I was going to ask, like, I know that you have sort of mentioned in the past that you don't love a uniform, but that you have like formulas that are that work
formulas,
for you.
and I have like variations on uniforms that work for me.
Okay.
But with the book, it was important to me not to say like these are the 10 pieces that you need in your closet, because the idea with creating a method is that you make your own method in the same way that an intuitive or a psychic that I might talk to. The idea is not that you keep going back to the healer, is that you learn to heal yourself.
Oh, yeah. Anyone who's been listening to this podcast long enough knows my feelings on capsule wardrobes and how I do not like them because they're so prescriptive. And I don't think that's fair to...
It's not fair. It doesn't work for everybody.
It doesn't work for everyone. And like what is in my capsule wardrobe doesn't work for what may be in your capsule wardrobe. But it's more of the philosophy or the system. Yeah, exactly. What are you willing to spend money on? Like shoes, coats, pants, bags, accessories?
Interesting. I have a weird job that I get access to a lot
Totally.
of this stuff. But if I was going to advise someone,
yes.
I would invest in great jeans. I would invest in blouses. And the funny thing is, even with suits, I think like those kind of sharp accent pieces are crucial in coats, but they don't have to be expensive. It's not about the price, it's about the texture and the proportion and how it, like, if you're going to invest in something, invest in a tailor who's going to tailor pieces to you so that the clothes are about you and not the clothes.
Right. I also want to hear your thoughts on like any trends that may be popping up. Are you into trend cycles?
I'm aware of trends, but I'm not wed to them.
Yeah.
I like to tap in, like, obviously I need to be like an authority in this space, so I'd like to know about it. But I use them as like something to be aware of to make sure that I'm still expanding and growing and like expanding what's possible.
Okay.
I like to listen to trends to see like what I might take from that into my secret sauce.
100%.
But only for that. Like, I'm not a trendy sneaker girl. Like, I never will be. And that's fine. But I can offer those tips to people who like that.
Of course. Yeah. We always say that at Marie Claire, like our woman is trend oriented. So she wants to know. Cool. She wants to know. She's aware, but she's not going to like follow the trends off a cliff.
Too prescriptive. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I will say though, in some of the recent collections, like with say Chanel, for example, what struck me the most, obviously the clothes are extraordinary, but was the joy. This was an exercise in bringing joy back into the process of getting dressed. And it just felt so unabashedly joyful. And like, that's where possibility happens is when you find that heart center. And it felt like not prescriptive. It was an offering. Yeah,
it was an offering. And I saw a bit of ease to it as well.
Please, that subway show. Oh my goodness. It was so cool.
It was so cool. And it felt very like grounded in real life. Like, and I could, I'm already seeing people going into their closets and saying, I was inspired by the Chanel show. So I put on my like camel colored quarter zip. That's great.
And that's not about the trend. That's about the feeling that he created in the show and the world. Because the best designers are creating worlds that you want to be a part of.
Yes.
And that's the same thing for the red carpet. Somebody on the red carpet, what are they embodying that I would like to be?
Yeah.
What element of what she's wearing would serve me?
Yes. Okay, so by the time this also airs, Fashion Month is going to be on the horizon. Are there any, we mentioned Chanel, but are there any other brands, designers that you have your eye on that you're loving?
I mean, Loewe, I'm so excited for what they're doing. And that was another very joyful exercise. Like, just such a great exploration of color and context and choices, like getting very specific about what you're putting out there.
And you mentioned Michelle Obama.
I love that. Oh my God, she's killing it. I love what she and Meredith do. It's so cool. Just a joy.
Yes.
And she's like having fun. And I love what she said about that arc of, going from the rules of being a first lady to not having to listen to those rules anymore. And my hope with the book and this movement is that people learn how to write their own rules. And not just rules to keep them safe, but rules that expand what's possible for them.
Yeah.
And then other designers, those I love what's Dior's killing it. It's so cool. There's so many smaller designers that I'm so excited for too, who are emerging. I mean, Christopher John Rogers, I've always loved what he's doing. Willie Chavarria is brilliant suiting.
Yeah.
Like it's cool to see the masculine and feminine possibilities too when the overlap happens in the collections.
Yeah. Before I let you go, we always like to end this podcast with a quick lightning round about money, style, and power.
Money, style, and power. Okay. I
Okay.
hope that by changing your relationship to fashion, all of those things feel better in alignment for all the listeners.
First
here.
and foremost, yes. Okay, so I'm going to ask you 3 questions. You tell me immediately what comes to mind.
I'm scared.
Okay. What's one thing money can't buy?
Joy.
If you could trade closets with anyone, and you have a good closet, I'm sure. So think about it. If you could trade closets with anyone, who would it be and why?
I feel like either Lauren Santo Domingo has like brilliant taste, and also my friend Jennifer Fisher, the jewelry designer.
Oh, I love
has an
Jen.
excellent closet.
Yes.
And she's always at the forefront of what's new. And she never looks too trendy. It just looks like, oh, that's a new way to think about that.
Yes.
Like she's always been that way.
I love that. 2 extremely stylish women. Yeah. Okay, so lastly, what's your go-to song when you want to feel powerful?
Oh, powerful. Okay, hold on. Part of me thinks instantly to that Sex and the City song about G.
Glamorous by Fergie.
And it's funny because I used to work with Sarah Jessica, and I, in college, was obsessed with Sex and the City.
Yeah.
So when the film came out, there was something that just felt so like turn up the volume and supernova. So that would be one. That's a good like get it going. Beyonce always.
Yeah.
Like when you empowered too is like the same as set songs. Like if you want to feel empowered on set, you put on Beyonce.
Yeah. Well, Erin, thank you so much for joining me on Nice Talk.
So much fun.
This is so great. If you liked today's episode, please subscribe to Nice Talk wherever you get your podcasts, and don't forget to rate and review us. We'd love to hear your feedback and suggestions for the show, so feel free to reach out to us on Instagram at Marie Claire Mag or directly to me at Nikki Ogum. We can't wait to hear from you. I'm Nikki Ogunaki, and I'll see you next Thursday for another Nice Talk. This episode was produced by Hillary Kerr, Summer Hammeress, and Natalie Thurman. Our production assistant is Raven Yamamoto. Our editor is Natalia Perez. Our audio engineers are at Treehouse Recording in Los Angeles, and our music is by The Math Club.